To begin this video, we have to start out, I have a PhD in physics from Caltech and undergraduate in physics and chemistry from MIT. I was the only person at Caltech, it was the #1 school that year, that got a PhD. So you have to understand the metaphysics behind what I'm talking about. That the universe moves in reverse and us forwards. This has to do with identity. The identity of a object or substance's state. The universe has a constant flow in which things that are happening outside of life forms, and plants are not alive, they have an organelle that makes them completely deterministic. You have to have a 3-dimensional microscope to see it. Things in nature contain a history, they contain an information within their physical framework of things that they have done, and they continue to act on this. So when we interrupt, and well, it didn't really snap, but snap this, we are causing something. My PhD, which will come out when I'm not on witness protection anymore, is that some things do not occur in nature. You do not get a particle accelerator in nature, but there are natural laws that can help us use it. So that's what we call counting. That if you were a creature who just suddenly popped into existence, and you had, as for example, chemical energy in your body to take a certain amount of actions, that you would have to take the right one. But the right one is based not on what you observe, but what you can do. These are two different things. So that's how we start this. This is all encompassing. So check this if you want. This is new physics. Nobody knew this, but I knew this. The spin of the Earth and the center of the Earth results in the Coriolis effect. This is because protons and neutrons are affected by the spin of the Earth and the center of the Earth. Actually, neutrons are pulled out of the nucleus by the spin, and protons are moved in. Now you can do new physics that is based on percentages of stuff in a compound. So for instance, you can create a Compton generator off a McDonald's straw that's been rubbed on your hair, Sprite, and a dime that's put in a Sprite cap. If you put iridium in it, you don't have to rub it on your hair, right? This has to do with percentages of stuff in there. So next, every physical phenomenon contains the history of its action and acts on that until interrupted by life. Okay? So that's why the laws of physics happen the way they happen. If you were to take a survey of all of physics like I did, you will find out that what happened to something is what it's doing. Now, the way they do this is they snap to the beginning of their history over time, accelerating the action. So it contains separate, discrete integrals of everything that happened. Now, I found out that counting numbers of actions have an effect. Let's try and see if this works right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that would have been the 5th time it was picked up. Let's try that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, it jumped more. That was a separate action. This is a true phenomenon. Now, if you count to 8, the last one will be different. See, it was subdued. It gained time. 5 is the operational, and 8 is the time dimension. Now, not only that, but this happened because people were scarce in resources. Let's say you freeze some water by 20 degrees, and then you heat it in the opposite direction, plus 20 degrees past the 0. Is that going to be balanced? Well, no, it doesn't balance, and that is called the time phenomenon by Nikolai Alexandrovich Kozyrev. It gains information. Now, I have done all of the math in known physics, and Earth operates under superstring theory. This means that it has 29 dimensions. Now, if you go further in the math and do a couple experiments, one of them is on my YouTube, tachyons, you will find out, are a spin -1/4 particle. Now, there was something that I did in consulting 10 years ago, which is I developed for some people how to make positive waves, protonic waves. What you do is you trap protons in some sort of box. It can be like a steel box that you've accelerated protons through, their wavelength decreased, they slipped through, got bigger by the refraction, and were trapped in there. Those boxes will, if you energize them, produce positive waves. The Higgs boson appears. All these people are dead who I worked on it with. But the Higgs boson appears because protons don't have gauge. And I'll repeat, because this is the big application one. With the Earth spin-based proton-neutron physics calculations, the numbers of chemicals in respect to other chemicals plays a role in what can happen. So I haven't done extensive experiments, but you can, create a Compton generator off this. And so the problem with physics, I have, a lab that I'm putting together. And the problem with physics is that because of counting, these things like, okay, find, how do you bind calcium carbonate to an iridium sulfate, electrocoating. Well, that's not useful. We call that bumping into people. That's not useful. That's not even physics. That's just bumping into people. Physics requires that you use tools, are building tools, and you use tools to measure. You don't use measurement instruments to measure and create. You use tools. You cannot think of this linearly. It does not work linearly. you have to also think creatively.